Okay, let's try that again. Now, that was actually in the end pretty good news because now we've got the weekend warm up, so I won't be doing the little morning begathons again, trying to get that. And we're hoping that that Monday all our money will be in, and we can finally stop doing this nonsense and get on the proper video thing, like I'm trying to do right now. So I'm gonna start again here. Okay, now during Viacom CBS's fourth quarter, uh, whatever pageant, call it. Let's see, yeah, fourth quarter earnings kind of conference call. They did everything, and they live tweeted it. And at one point, Bob Back just pointed out that how on the heels of Star Trek Picard and CBS All Access, which broke our records for total stream subscriber signups, but again, without any numbers, that's meaningless. We're now taking the Star Trek franchise and extending it across the house. I mean, I take that as meaning, guess what? You need to go beyond All Access because it's not working. Let's see in the following, building on Picard, discovering Picard, we now have two additional series in production at CBS and Nickelodeon. That would be the two animated shows that they've already paid for. Nothing new there at all whatsoever. And two more in series in development, which again means nothing. Things are in development. There's a reason why it's called development hell. Because a lot of very noble concepts go in and they take decades to finally see the light of day, if ever. Now, let's see. Black Panther had been in development for who knows how long. Wesley Snipes was attached to that. There's been a Janis Joplin biopic in development, frankly, since the 80s. Okay, it keeps changing hands here and there, but there were two of them at one point. Melissa Etheridge was tapped to play Janice at one point, and they felt like they had the edge because they got the rights to another piece of my heart. The other ones didn't. They had the rights to that song, so they figured they had the edge to actually get it. And it keeps going back and forth. Last I heard, Renee Zellweger, I think, was attached to play Janice, but it just keeps going round and round and round. But yeah, in development means diddly squat. It basically means some studio is paying you a measly little bit of fun to keep you on the line, mainly so you don't go running off somewhere else. But I think in this case, it's like they're paying Kurtzman the minimum amount they have to under his contract. So he is developing stuff, but they're under no obligation to actually produce it. They don't have to make this stuff, And one of these shows, it's got to be on the Section 31 that he's got such a hard on for. And the other one, let's see, the list of stuff he's got going on here. Let's see. We got Discovering Picard. Lower Decks. That's one of the animated ones. Section 31. Yeah, that's what he thinks is going to happen. That's never going to happen. Prodigy that's the Nickelodeon one. God knows what's going to happen. Short Treks. Hell, maybe another round of Short Treks he's talking about. And also mentions the highly anticipated Star Trek film. Yeah, highly anticipated is kind of a very loose term. And frankly, they really kind of killed the last one because, and the usual excuse is it's too Star Trek-y, which is always a very bizarre complaint considering we're talking about a Star Trek movie because you really want it to be Star Trek. You want to bring the fans in. That's the whole thing of why these franchises suddenly want to try and choose their fans and go with somebody other than who their actual fans are. And hail Loki. Okay, all right, but yeah, before anybody, so just before anybody decides to get any, oh look, they got more series of it. No, they don't, because what Backus said was nothing new whatsoever. It's stuff we've already known about in some cases for literally years, at least a couple of years. And I'm really leaning more towards the rumors are probably correct. They want to get rid of Kurtzman in the worst way possible, without having to take him back, because financially they just can't afford to pay him off right now. Especially since they just get this merger going, that costs bucks. Even if it's all stock, they don't have the available assets to just pay him off and tell him to go screw himself. And also they got other obligations with him anyway, because they got Hawaii Five-O and MacGyver and everything. I think he's also got a part of the new Magnum show, so he's still working for CBS. They just wanted the hell off of Star Trek, and they're stuck with him with that contract. Now, if CBS's fortunes turn around in a major way, and they finally get enough capital, then yeah, I fully expect to hear they pay him off to go away, don't contest it. So we bring Rick Berman back, and you can't say squat. Okay, because there's nothing. Rick Berman, the little Twitter post, and how's everybody enjoying the Star Trek these days? And he's no supporter of the current, because that was the first step in him being shown the door by Les Moonves. And he essentially kind of retired of him, but I'm probably saying, I got one more in me. So let's just poke the bear a little bit here, because there's rumors of them trying to get people to come in and take over when they finally can get show Kurtzman the door, Star Trek wise, and they'll be free and clear to make their own with no restrictions and nobody having to invoke a contract. Say no, I got first dibs. So apparently they've been talking to Ron Moore. They've been talking to Ira Stephen Bear, apparently. I think they were talking to Seth MacFarlane. That's why these rumors came in that they're going to sell to Seth. No, they're not going to sell to Seth. But I think they could very well make a production deal with Seth. But I would think it'd be kind of obvious you want to talk to Rick Berman on this. Whether you want to give him the gig or not, you want to talk to him because he's the guy who was the runner for Star Trek for a lot of years. And yeah, he kind of ossified things a bit. And he got a little that's usually the joke is like where the Orville is Star Trek without the stick up its ass. He's the one who put the stick up the ass, pretty much at Roddenberry's urging. Because Roddenberry, remember go back to the first pilot, the Cage. One of Shatner's big comments when they brought him in to screen the thing to try and get him to take the job as the captain. It's like these people need to loosen up. They're way too serious here. This is going to be a job to them, and these people on the ship, that's their life. That is their job. So they would loosen up some. They're taking it way too seriously. Because they're going along, and then the captain's in the chair, and it is a very serious getting in the chair, and they're looking at the screen. It's a very serious look at the screen. This is earth-shattering. No, that's just day-to-day life for them. They'd be used to this by now. So Roddenberry had a bit of a problem, and it carried on when they went to the motion picture, and it's back to this is a very important thing. We are looking at very important things on the screen, even though the screen is just airbrush doodads flying by, for however and ever and ever till we finally get to V'ger. And Nimoy knew something because he tried a little ad-lib at the end, his last scene on the bridge. And then they had the script line, no, my task on Vulcan is complete. And he did a little ad-lib to try and, come on, that's good. Hey, Spock is back. He's wrecked himself again. And inject a little of the old humor here. And his ad-lib was, apparently McCoy's there. And then Scotty says, I can have you back on Vulcan in 3 days, but if Dr. McCoy's bringing on board, my presence here is essential. That would have redeemed the movie. That would have been part of nailing the landing. Just Spock giving a jab back at McCoy. That wasn't quite so mean-spirited as earlier in the movie. Just a good-natured swap and say, yes, okay, the guys are back. Okay, that would have made it right there. Another thing I would have, because actually, this is why I kind of like the end of Undiscovered Country. Because when Kirk gives that, second star to the right and straight on to morning. That's how when I first saw a motion picture, that's how I thought he was going to say, or what he should have said. That exact line. So, heading captain, that's what he should have said. Second star to the right and straight on to morning. That would have been the perfect ending right there. That was kind of a bit of a lame thing. I don't know who's responsible for that line. But it kind of goes to, you can have the greatest story going, and if you don't stick the landing, you're not going to have problems. And that's, why the motion picture, I think, is really looked down upon by people, because they didn't stick the landing, really. It kind of stumbled a little bit. It was okay, but it kind of stumbled on the landing a bit. You know. And why Game of Thrones? This was the greatest show television had ever seen since the invention of the cathode ray tube. But that last season just totally muffed it. I mean, not only did they not stick the landing, the old girl basically did a belly flop on the after going to the Palmos and just whap right there. 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. It's like not only did you not get the gold medal, but you're the first gymnast ever nominated for a Razzie. That's why that's how bad they blew the landing on Game of Thrones. And Star Wars say that Star Wars is complicated because they totally screwed up the middle part with Last Jedi. There's no way they could have stuck the landing on that one. Colin Trevorrow's script might have at least let him end it with some dignity. But the Star Wars movie franchise is mortally wounded as it is just because of Last Jedi. But as far as Star Trek goes, there's nothing new here, guys. And you know that one of those series I talk about in development is Kurtzman and his Section 31. Somebody again, you notice there's hardly anybody on the writing staff that has any sci-fi credentials at all. Certainly no Star Trek credentials. Kirsten Beyer is the only one, and she was novels. She did Voyager now. And frankly, after last night's episode, it's been to seriously question her acumen. When she's kind of taking the blue pill to get along in there because, really? Like some people point out, it's like this is no longer Star Trek. This is Mad Max with warp drive. It's totally dystopian, and they seem to think that the Federation is just Earth. They'll give lip service to the other planets, but Earth doesn't do anything, then they don't do anything. The Federation's abandoned us. And you have lots of planets. It's a very, very large area the Federation encompasses. Earth doesn't run everything, okay? Many of the member planets still have their own fleets, apart from Starfleet. Vulcan still has their own ships, under their own registry. Not everything is Starfleet. So the idea that, it's suddenly turned into, the Badlands everywhere because they didn't want to save 900 million Romulans. These people have problems with large numbers. Like when you have Agnes saying, there's over 3 billion stars. Well, technically, yeah, there's over 3 billion because there's like over 300 billion stars in the galaxy. Unless there's another facet, there's suddenly 99% of the galaxy just vanished and we're down to 3 billion stars. I'll say it again. These people, scientifically illiterate. They could not pass a third grade science class. Okay, take a look at the email here, and still nothing new there. It's looking like Monday's probably going to be when we get a check, and I can stop bitching about money all the damn time. Yeah, let's see, we got new stuff from BritBox. I was like, no, what's going up here? Cause I don't watch that nearly enough as I should, and part of the problem is because the horrible Wi-Fi back in the room. At this point, I'm really going to pay that because so Steph can have something to watch on her end. But yeah, this thing with the I would say Star Trek probably has a better chance to recover than some of the other franchises. But it's going to take someone taking the, it's kind of the nuclear option when you have something that's not working in a show or thing, and you just declare it non-canon. It's the Bobby in the shower thing, Bobby Ewing in the shower, where you just that entire season didn't happen. It was brilliant as far as the move goes there, but except the one thing is they kind of forgot to apply it to the spin-off show Knots Landing, because they still proceeded on like that season until it happened. But that was whatever. I think they become their own animal by then. But since then, I mean, other franchises have done this sort of thing. It's like with Highlander, they just completely obliterated. Like Highlander 2, they're kind of forced to do Highlander 2, I think. So it's clear they didn't want to do it, so they made it as bad as possible. Man, in the commentary section, they're joking. Yeah, oh yeah, we don't know what we were smoking then, but and of course, the master of it all, George Lucas, where it's like with his insistence the special edition thing. That was just the biggest example of stuff he'd already done before, because with THX 1138, the studio didn't, they monkeyed around with his cut, and so when it came time for home video time, he made sure that the version went out was his version, and eliminated the studio's version. So, and American Graffiti, I think, did the same thing, where they monkeyed around with that one. It's like, no, his version. And then of course the original trilogy with the special editions. Well, I think now he kind of, I think he if you really pressed him, he'd probably admit that having Greedo shoot first was probably a mistake. But he's not going to back down for anything, even though the picture of him on one of the indie films where he's wearing a shirt with a cartoon picture of Han Solo, it's a Han shot first. That's where I think this McClunky thing came in with the latest version. It's like he's playing with it now. He's trolling it. Okay, he's a fanboy like the rest of us too. He started off because he's a fan, So I think he's just yanking our chains at that point. But this is getting off on a bit of a rant here. So what the hell? Might as well have some fun here. Okay. These franchises have got to realize you can't just wave off the established fan base, because the established fan base is where you're gonna get. They're the reason why you have these franchises and why they're so lucrative, because you have a built-in fan base. If you don't want the fans, then you just build something else and get your own fans that way. But if you want to buy Star Wars, you got Star Wars fans. They're part of the package. You got Star Trek, you got Trekkies. We're part of the package. And if you want to maintain the package, you got to maintain everything, and that includes the fan base. Now, I'm not saying pander to the fans, but I'm saying let's not go to your way to outreach them. Okay, the things are cracking up here, and Midnight's Edge is about to go live, so I'm going to wrap this up here at that one. Try and down this and wrap me and chop it into something more manageable for a video. So, okay, I'll catch you later, guys.